Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to answer this question that has been asked a lot of times. How much money did we begin with, or how much money do you need to begin a poultry farm? And so this is a video that you should stick around and watch. If you are watching me for the very first time, my name is Asperia and I'm a poultry farmer. This is my YouTube channel. I also do a lot of content on the channel, so check it out, subscribe, like this video, and let's get right into it. Like I said, we are going to look at how much money you need to begin a poultry farm. So this depends on where you are, the breed of birds that you want to do, the number of birds that you want to start with. Before we talk about the figures, the amount of money, where are you? We could tell you the prices of things in Bale, yet you are in Kampala. Things are different. Or in Uganda here, things are different from other countries. So the amount of money you need will depend on your location. Where are you located? And then number two, it depends on the breed of birds. You want to do layers or you want to do broilers? It also depends, because both of them carry different weights. For example, layers, they need some good startup capital. So what do you want to do? And then it also depends on the number of birds that you want to begin with. You can begin a poultry farm with just 10 birds. You can begin with 100. You can begin with 1 million. How many birds do you want to begin with? When you look at these factors, then you can decide on how much money that you need to begin a poultry farm. Now, for example, when you look at layers need more startup capital compared to broilers. However, all breeds are good, depending on what is your choice as an individual. For layers, you have to have some money to feed them until they start production, until they start laying eggs. Now remember, these layers, sometimes they can begin laying at week 17, but then it takes them about 4 to 5 or 6 weeks for the egg size to be normal. So you need almost 6 months to start earning profit from the layers, or for them to start buying feeds for themselves. So it needs some good capital. You must be able to have some good money to feed these birds until they start the production. So you need a poultry house. Now, for a poultry house, it will determine how many birds you're going to have. For example, if you are to do layers, each square meter takes about 6 to 7 birds per square meter. So if you count the meters that you have, that you want to set this house, you can know how many birds you're going to have. For example, if you look at our house right now, it accommodates about 240 birds, but then it can accommodate up to 300. So sit down, look at the building materials in your area. Ask yourself, how much do I need to buy these iron sheets? Because we are going to make a simple structure, and it shouldn't be so simple, like to allow thieves just enter anyhow, to allow wild animals or wild birds to just enter or access your poultry house. It should be simple but very strong. So I'm not going to deceive you. It is going to cost you some good money, because if you go to the hardwares, you're going to see the cost of these iron sheets, the chain link, the chicken mash, and the cement, because down you have to kind of make it rough. They don't have to be in the dust. So it is going to cost you some good money. Most of the investment is going to be on the house, but then it is not a loss, because that is a capital investment. It's something that is going to stay for so many years if you keep it well. That is why I always tell my friends to make something strong. Don't just watch a video and be like, let me just go and make a poultry house with only taplings. It is going to rain, and then your birds are going to die. All thieves are going to just come and grab all the birds. This will also depend on where you are, and so go and find out the prices of building materials in your locality, and then you are able to sit down and count how much money you need. Get an engineer that knows how to make these houses, and then let them make for you an estimate, and you will see. And then secondly, after you have made a structure, you need to buy the things that are needed in the poultry house. You need to buy drinkers, you need to buy feeders. Now, so many people have watched people saying, start with anything, buy simple feeders. Yes, that's fine. It is good to buy cheap things, but cheap things end up becoming so expensive. If you're investing in this farm for a long time, please buy something that is durable. You can buy a drinker at 5,000, but the birds will break it before it even takes a month. So sit down and evaluate. How long am I going? If you are doing layers, just know those birds can jump up and down. So if you buy this cheap, I had some feeders that were not so durable. By now they are all almost gone. So make sure you buy something nice and durable, so that you don't keep buying the same thing. And then that is what you need before you think about bringing birds, before you think about the feeds. So after you have made a structure, you have slowly started to buy these drinkers and feeders and everything that is needed. You need a spade, you need a whole, like, things to use in the poultry house. Taplings you have already bought. This is what you need. Now I'm going to tell you the cost of chicks. Now the chicks depend on which company you are going to buy from, but the price varies from 4,500 Uganda shillings to 5,000. That is about $1.5 US dollars. They need some good money. If you're buying, for example, 300 birds or layers, you're going to spend 300 times 5,000. That is close to 1.5 million just to buy day-old chicks. You get me? And then each bird ranges, like, you can, if you're doing broilers, it is way more cheaper than layers, because for them the chicks are cheaper compared to layers. And then also depends on where the birds are. Some of you have money, you can even get birds as far as Nigeria, Netherlands, but be sure you're buying from good and authentic dealers. So after finding good and authentic dealers, please, that is what you need. And then it will need transport to bring those birds to your farm. Maybe you're buying from very far, you have to plan on that before you start. And so after the cost of birds, we are going to look at the cost of a brooder. Now these birds, because we buy them at day one, they first go to the brooder before they start going into the main house. So you need to buy, okay, this will also be applicable for the whole house. You need litter. It should be very good, and it should be much. It shouldn't be one sack of litter. You need to buy. Some people prefer using wood shavings, others prefer using coffee husks. Now for me, in my poultry house, I use coffee husks, and they are really good. They are somehow durable. However, they are more expensive than wood shavings. So go around and check how much is the price of coffee husks in your locality, and then Now in our house, we used about there are 2 rooms for different birds. We used about 11 bags each house. So go and find out how much is the price per bag. In our locality here, we bought each at 10,000, and then you put in transport, so that is close to 300,000 on litter alone. 300,000 Uganda shillings. And then you need to make a brooder. So in a brooder, you can improvise as much as possible, because when you're beginning this farm, you are aiming at making profits. So you have to look at how you can improvise inside. So mostly I will show you my brooder here on the screen. I use boxes to divide the house, and then I need to buy charcoal or charcoal stoves so that we shall have enough temperature. I needed to buy a thermometer. I needed to have brooder paper that can, the first paper we put down where you are going to throw the feeds for these birds, because they are not yet going to be knowing how to use the feeders, and they don't have, to step down in the litter. They can enter inside the litter and they end up dying. So you need brooder paper, but somehow you can improvise with some boxes or newspapers, like used newspapers you put down, and you begin the farm. Then you also need bulbs, these special bulbs that we use in the brooder, like they create some good heat in the brooder and also give light from every hour, day and night. And that means you're going to have a high electricity bill, because brooding takes about 2 weeks, very good, in the brooder. So they are going to have electricity on for at least the first 2 weeks. So you're going to have a high bill of electricity. You need to prepare for that. You need to buy lamps in case electricity goes off. So you need to be prepared. And then you need to buy trays so that these birds can, start eating before you introduce these feeders. So there is also some small budget on the brooder, making a brooder, and having the birds in the brooder. And then after brooding, we talk about feeds. Now, if you're doing layers, like if you're interested in doing layers, plan to have enough money to feed these birds. These birds are going to start eating on day 1 up to the 6th month very well before you start earning money. Our birds started laying eggs at week 17, but I'm telling you, not all of them started. They started one by one, like they kept on increasing, and they stabilized by at least the 6th month. That is when the egg size is now better. You can now take your eggs to the market and people be able to buy. But before they start buying, you must be able to feed these birds until then. Because if you do not feed them well, you're going to disorganize their production. They're not going to lay eggs very well. So if you don't have some good capital, first wait and raise some money, and then or buy small number, and then that one you can afford. But with layers, if you have very small number, the profit margin is very small. So think well before you begin. So you need money to buy vaccines. From day 1, we are going to vaccinate these birds up to around week 10. So they need vaccines. Most of these vaccines are not cheap. At least they cost you about $3. In Uganda, that is about 10,000 and above. If you come to fall typhoid, 500 doses is sold at 65,000 Uganda shillings. So if you do not have good capital, you're going to compromise. And if you do not vaccinate these birds, you're going to get challenges. And then apart from vaccines, these birds in the long run, somehow they are going to fall sick. You need money to buy medicines. So you need money to buy medicines. You need to have the money there so that when these birds fall sick, you can be able to buy some medicines. And then you need money for labor. And that's stubborn. When you speak, you also speak. You need money to pay labor in case you're not going to manage doing this work yourself. So you don't know how much your worker is going to cost you. But I always advise people that if you're starting, it is very important for you to be involved in this farm before you employ other people. If you're starting small, maybe 300 birds and below, or 500, that is manageable, even you yourself. In our farm, we work ourselves, my husband and I, and somehow our children. So many things that you need to consider before starting a poultry farm. With this knowledge, I believe you are able to know how much money you need in figures to begin a poultry farm. I will not scare you by telling you the amount of money we have used in figures. That one is going to chase you, but then it's worth investing in. It is a good project and it is profitable, I can tell, and it is very good. So if you're wanting to be a poultry farmer, do not kill your dream. Start. with wherever you can start, and then other things will find you on the way. Thank you so much for watching. In the next video, I'll talk about what. Share that one in the comment section what you want to know, so that I talk about exactly what you want to know. But I'm intending to speak about vaccines. Someone has requested that video, and I will do that. Happy New Year. Bye.